Hello, welcome. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, no matter where you are. Welcome to 6Connex First Partner Showcase. This webinar is recorded and we're going to share the recording with you, including the presentation, once we are done with the webinar. It is going to be shared on the Way to Do virtual venue that we're going to show in a moment. Feel free to submit your questions. We are here to answer. And again, if there's something that we cannot answer you during the webinar, we'll make sure that we are going to reach out to you offline. So together with me, I'm excited to have three partners. We're going to ask them to join us right now. So we have Mike, Caitlin, and Sam. Let's see if you can join us. I'm sorry, Mike, Alexandra, and Sam. Hey, guys.
Hi.
Thanks for joining. This is a very exciting moment. We have WebinarNet, Walls.io, and Snapbar with us showing their solutions and how it's going to work within the 6Connex platform. I'm your host for today. My name is Ariel Shlamon. I am a product integration manager, and I'm responsible for our open universe, where we are exploring and enabling different solutions. For example, we're going to have three of them showing you how they are integrated with our platform. And this is all in order to make sure that your participants are engaging and collaborating during the event. So let's get started. Mike, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Great to speak with you all. Mike Henry here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alex. I'm the partnership manager at Walls.io. We are a software company based in Vienna, Austria, and we help brands worldwide harness the power of social media and user-generated content.
Okay, thank you, Alexandra. And Sam?
Yeah, hello, everyone. My name is Sam Eitzen. I'm the CEO at Snapbar. We're a photo and video experience company that does events in the virtual space, but also have been doing events, of course, in the in-person space for a long time. So we focus on event engagement, and a lot of photo booths that you see that are a part of some of the big events out there right now are Snapbar virtual booths.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. We'll get back to you shortly. What we're going to do now, we are going to jump into a quick screen sharing. Let's do this. 1 second. Okay. Perfect. So where you are right now is in our venue. We call that the Way to Do Virtual. And the Way to Do Virtual is your place to host your event. And what you can see here, we chose to do a terminal look and feel. And this is pretty cool because you can design any look and feel that you would like. And the sky is the limit. What we chose here is to do the terminal. We can have a host video here that will welcome your participants. We can have different pages. And in this case, we have a showcase where you can see examples of how each booth or a room would look like. Other things here that you can explore is your My Passport. So we would like you to engage in our platform. And in that case, we are just giving you some fun activities to explore around this environment. Now, make sure that you also explore our chat capability, our matchmaking, which is our new AI engine that literally matches us with other participants. So feel free to explore that. Also, some meeting scheduling. You can schedule a meeting with our team members. And my agenda, as you can see today, we're having our webinar right now running. So let's get started with, I'm going to stop my screen share. And we are going to start with our open universe. So what is the open universe that we are showing today? It's literally a concept where we are providing our clients a choice to integrate almost any third party within their virtual venue at 6Connex. We want to make sure that we deliver best-in-class experiences, that we enhance our participants' engagements and collaboration. So next time they want to come back, there will be some excitement around the event. And, we want to make sure that you are successful delivering the event. So a few things that you see in this diagram, it's not an exhausted list of things that we integrated or embedded within our application, but it's just a flavor, give you a flavor of what we did. So for example, the attendee interactions, we have Snapbar, and they're going to show their solution in a few moments. On the webcasting and conferencing, we have different solutions, and one of them is WebinarNet, and Mike is going to show us in a moment a lot of information about their solution. We have other video and live broadcasting, some content, and social walls. And we're going to have Walls.io today, and Alexandra will show some fun stuff with Walls.io and what it can do. In addition, we want to make sure that you are aware that we are open to do integrations with many different systems. For example, registration systems like Cvent, Eventbrite, marketing automation like Marketo, Eloqua, Pardot, and CRM like HubSpot and Salesforce. So if you have any questions, feel free to use the Q&A as a reminder. And let's jump to Mike. And Mike, if we can add you, and you can take it away.
Thanks, Ariel. Yeah, so WebinarNet was spun out of 6Connex, and I mentioned that twice because we ran hundreds, thousands of virtual events with lots of webinars using Zoom, GoToWebinar, WebEx, Teams, etc. And those are, great meeting tools, but they are closed ecosystems. They require you as an attendee to download and install an app. And you might think that Zoom is ubiquitous after this pandemic and everyone's using it, but that's not the case if you're a team shop or if your company is using WebEx. So we basically built WebinarNet as a major upgrade over those meeting tools for events and online presentations. And largely what they're used for are marketing, training, presentations, all hands meetings, investor communication. You'll see in this example and some of the other examples we're going to push out here, it's our customer's brand, not our brand. It's completely browser-based. There's no app to download or install. Mobile devices are supported. Again, don't need to go to the Apple Store or Android Store and download something. You just sort of click the link and it works. And we really wanted to make it simple and easy to use, kind of take the best of Zoom in that it's very simple to create a Zoom meeting. So in WebinarNet, a customer could create a webinar in 60 seconds, or our partners like 6Connex can quickly create events. If you go to the sort of next slide, you kind of look at the tools side by side. It's just clear that the WebinarNet experience on the right is just a much better and looking experience. And you'll actually see this one is using Prezi on the left window there. There's some cool video graphics being connected there. And there's really no kind of clear mention of WebinarNet. So there's a few different pieces of the webinar tool. We don't need to get into all these details on the platform slide here, but you'll see that there's a scheduler that lets you build and organize your events, create what different features you want enabled. We call them components. There's a presenter console that gives speakers the ability to deliver their presentation like we are today. And then there's the attendee console and, of course, reporting. If you look at this example here, the Agile Leader example, it's embedded within the 6Connex environment. So we have the ability to do data passing and kind of embed the WebinarNet presentation as a layer within the 6Connex environment. But 6Connex is not our only partner. We have all sorts of CRM integrations, many of them productized like Salesforce, HubSpot, Marketo, workflow tools like Zapier, and the ability to work with event tools, event registration tools like Cvent, like Ariel mentioned. But we can also work with any homegrown event registration system. We have open sort of and generic APIs that also can be used. And then if you look at sort of production and how you get video and audio into WebinarNet, you'll see on this slide, we could use webcams like we are today. We could use phone bridges like conference calls, but you can also take, and this is especially important as we get into in-person events and sort of broadcasting those or simulcasting those to a virtual audience, to an online audience. You could take a nice camera, plug it into a laptop, running WebinarNet's presenter console, transmit video that way. You could send signals via a studio. You could use Wirecast or OBS and send an RTMP connection. So lots of different ways of getting video signals into webinar.net. And then if you look at the sort of next slide, there's lots of ways to transmit feeds out. So if you wanted to take a webinar.net session and perhaps do it as a Facebook Live simulcast or LinkedIn or YouTube Live, that's possible. Maybe you want to feed the audio to one of the AI services for captioning or translation or simultaneous interpretation, like Wordly or Social Live or 3Play Media, I think is another one that we're starting to work with. And then I guess I'll highlight as the last slide here, simulated live events are very popular. We call them pre-recorded live events. If you have a sort of paid spokesperson like Will I Am here, maybe he wasn't doing that live. Maybe he's at his home studio recording this MP4 and sending it to the event organizer, and maybe that's uploaded into our system and used as the source of a live broadcast in a way that the attendees don't really need to know it's pre-recorded. So that's a way to work with third-party influencers, paid spokespeople, thought leaders, as well as production studios and the like. I'll flip it back to you, Ariel.
Alexandra, I am going to have you with me here, and we can kick off. If you can join us.
I think I can.
Okay, perfect.
Cool. Great,
I'm
let's
going to
move on to the
advance
next
the
slide
slide.
right away.
Yep, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to hide myself.
Thank you, Ariel. So once again, hi, I'm Alex, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how you can boost engagement on your next event. And if you ever organize one, and I think most of our viewers did, you probably use social media to promote it. So yeah, today I'm going to be talking about how to engage and most importantly, entertain your attendees during the event. First of all, let's figure out what does it mean to raise engagement in the event case. It means getting people to talk about your event online, to participate in the conversations, and to share their content with each other. To encourage that, you can simply create a platform where all of their Instagram posts, tweets, and Facebook posts will be displayed. We also highly encourage everyone who organizes an event to create a specific hashtag so that you can point out all of that content on the internet and also make your attendees sure that all of their messages reach to you directly. You can then, and we're moving on to the next slide, collect all that content from social media using Dazzle. Here, we developed a social media tool that helps you pull content from 13 different social media platforms, not only around hashtags, but also from social media profiles and around keywords. We then collect all that and put it in a social wall. And to give you an example of what it looks like, let's move to the next slide, and I'll show you the wall that we created specifically for this webinar. As you can see, it's a fully customizable space where you can display user-generated content along with sponsor posts and native posts. You can also add call to action buttons to connect the content on your wall with products and services. This wall is made in the Fluid theme, but you can also style it using one of our pre-made themes. And for those who want to tie the design of the wall to their specific brand needs, we also have a custom CSS option that requires little to no coding. But working with virtual events in the past 2 years, we really learned that the most important thing with live updates and walls on the event is the moderation. With Dazzle, you can hide and show posts very easily and also choose between two moderation modes, both automatic and manual, so that you can be in control of everything that's being displayed on your wall. So no worries, there is not going to be any naughty posts on your wall during the event. Yeah, that's the changed theme. We are now moving on to the next slide. So I can show you how you can use your wall in, for example, in-person events, as you can see on the left, but also on the right, but also on the left, you see our CEO's favorite theme, which is called the map, which is great for hybrid events as it shows how global your event is in case your attendees are spread across the world. Moving on to the next slide. I want to kind of explain to you why using social wall is so great for the event. We learned that the best hybrid events combine live streams and social feeds. Not only it gives you the opportunity to highlight your sponsors and maintain your custom branding, but also it gives you the opportunity to encourage those live conversations, and that's what we're looking for when we're talking about engagement. You can use social wall to collect the content with custom filters, for example, or connect it with a virtual or physical photo booth. You can also run contests, play icebreaker games, asking your attendees what weather they have or what their pets are doing, and ask them to share those posts with your hashtag on social media. Our integration with 6Connex, moving on to the next slide for you. Our integration with 6Connex is extremely smooth. Here's the example of how social wall will look like in your virtual environment. All you need to do is have fun creating your wall and then just copy the code snippet and share it with 6Connex team, and they will implement it for you. Last slide of the presentation, please. We are a premium service, so anyone can go and create their wall right now, which we encourage you to do after the webinar. Create your hashtag, remember your goals, give your attendees a spotlight to shine, a place to connect and share their experiences, but most importantly, have fun. That's it on my part. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alexandra. I think this is the key word, to have fun, not only just planning the event, but executing the event and enjoy every moment. Thank you so much. And now we would like to welcome Sam. Perfect.
Hello,
hey,
hello.
Sam. Hello, hello. The
Hi.
stage is all yours.
Okay, thanks so much. Feel free to jump over to slide number 1. Hello, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. My name is Sam Eitzen. I'm the CEO of Snapbar. So we're a photo and video experience company. I'll give you a little bit of backstory before I jump into an overview of how people and why people use our product. For the past 10 years, we've been kind of pioneering in-person photo booth experiences at events across the US and some internationally. So everything from like large conferences for big tech companies like Microsoft or Google to Coachella to big sporting events. You've probably been to these places before, or sorry, you've been to these events before, and you might have seen photo experiences, video experiences of various kinds. Why do people go to them? I'll jump into that in a bit. But last year, of course, as with many of you, things were completely derailed as we lost our ability to do in person. And so we pivoted and built one of the world's first virtual photo booths. And at first, I didn't even have a ton of confidence in it, to be completely honest. I didn't know how it was going to go. And it turned out to legitimately save and then transform our company to where now most of our work is done in the virtual space and for basically the future of hybrid events. And we're really focusing on the tech side of our business more than anything else. And so what Snapbar is, we're an event tech company. We're completely focused on engagement at events and marketing activations around the world. We have an in-person product called the Selfie Stand, a virtual product called the Virtual Photo Booth. They speak to each other so that hybrid events can actually take place, and people in person and online can actually create similar types of content. And then we essentially are trying to facilitate on a continual basis brands connecting better to the people they're trying to reach, whether that's Nordstrom to their customers in the context of a store or like this event, trying to reach the people that are attending, right? Across the board, that's basically what we do. And so if you go to the next slide, that'd be great. The first, I'm going to, instead of talking specifically about the products, I'm going to just try to talk to you about why people choose products like ours. And maybe even this applies similarly to walls.io, which just presented. And Alexandra basically talking about how you get people to like have fun and jump in and actually like participate in these ways. The first is engagement, or specifically in the context of event engagement. Fun is important, but it isn't everything. And so when we think of building our products, we're consistently thinking of how to make them interesting, how to allow people to connect with a message or a point that the brand is trying to push forward or the event is trying to push forward. And so this is where the content comes into play. Content is something that people love to create, even if it's silly and it's never going to be shared online, which of course is the point. It's a pretty big deal and people love to share it. And so if you can engage them in a way to say, hey, come take a selfie and, let us know where you're from, and like type on screen on the photo, like your name, how many years have you been at our conference? You can, you can brand it and have them choose different stickers that talk about how many, like where the background is or what track they're on at a particular conference. Now, these are all ways to get people to participate in something beyond just sitting and listening, and to engage with the brands and even the sponsors that you might have at an event. If you go to the next slide, I'll just jump through these really quickly. The second reason people come and like work with companies like ours, like Snapbar, book photo booths, is for user-generated content. We communicate visually more than ever before. Our products allow people to create branded content. So instead of some big brand going to a platform like Instagram or Facebook, trying to push everyone to that one platform, we, similarly to a lot of the partners that 6Connex has, are completely based on the web. And so via a link or QR code, someone can jump in and use their phone or tablet or computer to generate custom branded content that they can then push to a partner like Walls.io. They could, of course, share it to social platforms that they're on, like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. They can push them to our own galleries that then connect with other platforms or other products that we have, like mosaics and slideshows and things like that. And so this is, again, just a way to push the content that your attendees or users or clients are creating to the forefront, and basically telling them, hey, we want to hear from you. What's your experience at the event? What do you want to say to everyone else here? And it's a way to make things a little bit more personal. So the user-generated content is the second piece, the reason people come and use products like ours. And then finally, if you go to the final slide, it's for brands to better understand their users or the attendees. So via leads and surveys, we can collect the data that someone's willing to offer up to better understand who's there and what they are passionate about and what they're interested in. Of course, we all know that pretty much every attendee has an email. So this is trying to push beyond just collecting an email and to have this push marketing sense where you're just sending information their way. We really try to understand how, like, the various ways that brands want to connect with customers, and more importantly, how customers and attendees want to be connected with by the brands. And we've found enormous success with that, using like photo and video as a platform to do this. And so again, that's what Snapbar does. If you go to our website, snapbar.com, you'll see the products that we have on there. We're consistently trying to roll out more and integrate with awesome partners like 6Connex. It's very simple to add a virtual photo booth to a platform like that. And our team would be happy to help if that's something that you're interested in. Oh, I don't think we can hear you.
Okay, maybe now. Thanks, Sam. I just want to make sure that I share this, that I missed totally the photo booth, that you can have fun with other people. Yes, we can do that now online at home, but I can't wait to have in-person event and, use your technology and have fun. And I agree with you, content is another thing that is really important for the success of the event.
Yeah, I mean, but that's happening today. We have a big event going on where there's our selfie stands are in person. And of course, there are a ton of people using the virtual element as well. And all of those photos are going to one joint gallery. And it's so interesting to see people like here, obviously in front of a screen, but then groups of people, together in person. And it's actually a really cool way to like visualize the hybrid experience.
Perfect. So let's have all of our other panelists and join us together. If you can turn on your camera and microphone, and I will just wrap up. If you can, guys, join us, that will be great. Just one last slide before we go to the Q&A. If you can, the participants can scan the QR code. We are having demos every Friday, so you're welcome to join us. You're welcome to reach out and ask questions. If we cannot answer them today in our webinar, we will make sure to reach out to you and give you the best answers we can. I would like to start our Q&A section. So what we will ask first is a question for Alexandra. There is a question for Mark. Can this be made secure for internal programs and our clients have no fear of content, conversations are not available to the public?
My answer is yes. We have an option of a private wall, so you can make your wall private. However, all the content on social media still needs to be public in order for us to be able to collect it. We have another option for those accounts who don't want to make their profiles public, is to use our Facebook Messenger and send their content straight away to the wall.
Okay, and that leads me.
Yes.
And that leads me to the next question that someone asked. Like we have Dana asking about how specific is the design requirements for the customers? How flexible is the design in the Walls.io?
It is very flexible, as I mentioned before, with custom CSS. You can do whatever you want with the wall. It's just the 6 themes, which are like a template, and then you can play around with every detail on the wall all you want with little to no coding.
Perfect. Next question is something that I'm going to take. This is something that's related to the integration of our platform with other vendors. So what is the cost associated to that? So literally, the only cost that you have is to engage with the third party, like the free solutions that we have now, and use the technology. Embedding that technology is out of the box. It's meaning there's no extra cost associated with that. You only need to engage and purchase the license or to have some agreement with these vendors. Let's ask Mike. What do you think how we can maximize attendance during the webinar, and how do you see the vision? What's the vision of a hybrid? Because everyone are now talking about switching to the hybrid mode where we're going to have virtual and in-person events.
Yeah, I think primarily people are still using email databases as the way to promote their webinar, and I think that's fine. But I think people should consider the social channels and the platforms as a way to promote and drive attendance to webinars. And even consider using paid media, taking those email lists you have, uploading them as custom audiences on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, promoting the webinar that way. As for hybrid, I think it's simple. There's going to be an appetite to get back in person, but there's going to be capacity restrictions. There's going to be different appetites of getting into a windowless conference room for hours at a time. So I think simply webcasting an in-person event and extending it to those who can't make it for time or distance or comfort reasons is a great way to do that. And combining that with some of the partners here, including 6Connex and others, is a great way to organize your in-person events and extend them to an online audience.
Perfect. And that leads me to Sam, a question about, today we are global. What's the experience of having global events that are out there and making sure that people can engage in different time zones?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we deal with this all the time. In fact, we can build virtual booths in different languages even, so that it allows for people that are tuning in from different parts of the world to engage. It really doesn't matter from the time zone perspective. Everything is very automated, and when we connect with our partners, the booths are open for anyone to participate in. We've been doing events since last year in March around the world. We went from a pretty localized company on the west coast of the US to doing events all over Australia, China, Pakistan, Africa, all over Europe. and it was pretty exciting for us to actually see people use this. The beautiful thing about selfies is that like smiles are universal. It doesn't really take a whole lot to understand how to have fun and brand a photo and then share it on whatever platform they're on. So very much we've seen some pretty great engagement from around the world.
Yep, I agree. One additional question that I saw here, what about Zoom and Teams? So what I can share is that our platform supports also working with Zoom and Teams. Just feel free to reach out to us, to our sales, and we'll make sure that we will guide you how this can be embedded. Alexandra, let's see what else. Walzayo, we're planning an international hybrid. That's a question from Dana again. We're planning an international hybrid event, and we would like to have social media displays at every physical location and social feed embed in the virtual event setup. Do we need more than one social wall? Can we have multiple moderators in different locations? This is a really interesting for the hybrid kind of a hybrid question. Yeah, go ahead, Alexandra.
So answering the first part of the question, it depends on the kind of the content you want to pull to your wall. For example, if you want to pull from the same hashtags, then you don't need to create different walls. You can pretty much display one wall on multiple devices or multiple physical screens if you're having part of your event in person. You can also, of course, embed it into the website, to your app, your virtual event platform, pretty much everywhere. And answering the second part, can you have multiple moderators in different locations? Of course you can, because, for example, with manual moderation, when you need to approve every post before it goes to the wall, we highly recommend to have a dedicated person who will do the work. So yes, there is opportunity to add more people to your wall to be able to moderate it.
Perfect. And we have Augusto asking Mike, is there any integration or real-time closed captions or subtitling for live events inside WebinarNet? And what is the latency?
Yeah, there is. So we have two categories of partners there. One, sort of the human captioners and translators, and for that, we use primarily a company called VTAC and another company called Interprify. So with VTAC, with live captions, can be English, French, Spanish. It's real time. They're sort of court stenographers, very fast typers. I don't know how they do it, but they do well. And then the AI services like Wordly and Snackable, have their different niches. They're great in terms of being able to feed audio in and have it sort of be automated, generally a bit lower cost, easier to support multiple languages. And I'd say the latency there is probably a couple of seconds, but nothing bad. For Snackable, for the on-demand captions, it's completely synced.
Okay, and we have another question. I'm sorry, we have another question related to WebinarNet. Is it possible to connect something like Slido, so someone can go in and create their own Q&A, quiz or something like that, and then show it in the platform in your WebinarNet?
For sure, yeah. We've done, we can embed Slido as a component in our attendee console. We've used polls everywhere, anywhere rather. Prezi has been used. Some people use Wirecast and OBS to send in kind of custom and fancy video graphics and that sort of thing. We're working with Social Live. So yes.
Perfect. Let's see if we have another question. We do see a question here that's related to running this on a separate browser tab versus another window. This is related to the way the event manager is running the event, and they can choose in our platform to pop up a new screen or to pop up another kind of mobile window that will actually display the webinar. So I hope, Mark, that this answered your question. Okay, guys, anything that you would like to add more, our panelists, before we wrap up? Nope. Okay. Then I wanted to thank everyone for fun webinar. This is one of the best one that we had so far, and we are looking forward for our next webinar. We will announce shortly when it's going to be up and running. And thanks for joining, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.